Here.
Hello?
Have you checked the children?
They're all hot dogs. Whatever you do, don't fall asleep. I'm afraid!
Don't be afraid!
No. Be afraid. Be very afraid.
Gingy.
Pain has a face. Allow me to show it to you. Gentlemen, I am pain.
I met this 6-year-old child with this blank, pale, emotionless face. The blackest eyes. The devil's eyes.
You think that when you die, you go to heaven. You come to us.
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
I think he's in trouble.
Julie, this guy, if he can't take a joke, he stinks.
When there's no more room in hell, the dead will walk the earth.
Greetings, Flesh Wound Radio freaks, and welcome to an exciting, fright-filled new episode of Flesh Wound Radio. I am Daniel Shine, joined once again by Todd Loya. Todd, how goes it, man?
All goes well today. Just getting, still the holiday season. Still Hanukkah for our Jewish friends listening.
Yes.
Yeah, just holiday season out of state with my in-laws. So I'm doing the show via remote, I guess.
Yes, you're out of California. That's rare, Todd.
It is very rare.
You miss all the sin and nastiness of California. You got to get back there tomorrow.
Yes, I know, and it wasn't me pushing for it. My stepson's like, okay, I'm ready to go home. He's getting PlayStation withdrawals, so I get that. I got some stuff I could be working on at home.
Fuck the in-laws. Let's get home to my game system.
Well, when you're 17, you know how that goes.
He's not in a private area where he can watch pornography, so he needs to get back. I understand. That always sucked. Going to grandma's house and there's not a good place to whack it, so that's understandable.
Well, I've been in the bedroom watching Westworld instead.
Oh, there you go. Well, there's some nudity in that.
I'm only up to episode 3, but I did knock out, which I'll have to talk to you about this off air. I did knock out Stranger Things in a basically overnight. So.
Oh, cool. Yeah, no, I have to catch up on that for the cast reunion I'm going to be at for Days of the Dead, which is I'm excited about. So, yeah,
I'll have to shoot you a DM about that.
Oh, absolutely, yes. I was about to ask you about that again, actually. I was thinking about that today. Yes, and we do have some sad news to report. A lady who I met, I want to say it was Monster Mania 2013, in, I guess it was Jersey, I believe. Carrie Fisher passed away, as most of you watching the news probably know. Huh?
Star of the Burbs.
Yes, the Burbs, and that space thing. I can't remember what it was, but kind of obscure. But she was a really nice lady. Star Crash, that was it. That was her. I thought that was Carolyn Monroe. Maybe that was Fisher. Yeah, indeed. But she was really nice. I kind of expected her to be more of a, sign your shit, take your photo, walk away, but she was giving everybody a big hug, and she was very personable. I mean, she was a very nice lady, and not that I spent a lot of time with her or anything, but those, couple minutes, she was very, very kind, and she will be missed. That was I know she had her wild days in the 70s and 80s that I'm sure
Postcards
contributed
from the
probably.
Edge.
Yes,
and,
Meryl Streep. Yeah.
The one thing she doesn't get credit for that, I don't know a lot of people know, but it is known, that she did a lot in the 90s. She did a lot of punch-ups to scripts, like to try to fix the dialogue and plot holes. She did what she could with the Star Wars prequels, but Scream 3, she probably did a lot with that one too. There's other ones. Those always pop out because, Scream 3 is a horror one. But she did that in the 90s until basically Demolition Man, I believe, was another one. Until they basically want people to start doing that for free, and then she stopped.
Yeah, she was a great writer, really intelligent lady. She had a special, I don't know if it was HBO or something. It was like part stand-up, part her true story. She's a very interesting lady. It was sad to see her go. I'm assuming she finished any scenes she has for the new Star Wars. I would imagine she did at this point. The one, I guess, coming out, Christmas of next year. I'm not sure where that stands.
In the can. But
okay, yeah.
Hey, she was in Rogue One too.
Yeah, she was. Yes, digital Carrie
Spoiler.
Fisher did make an appearance in that. I liked Rogue One. I thought Rogue One was a little darker. I liked it better than the last four.
Absolutely. And honestly, if Jedi wasn't the completion of that trilogy, I'd put it right after Empire.
Yeah, you can make a strong case. I like that it was. I mean, it was a Star Wars movie, yet at the same time, it was almost a little more like a war movie. It was, I'm not going to spoil anything, but it was a little more, I don't know, gritty, and I really enjoyed the cast and the tone, and it was cool seeing, I know a lot of people bitched about it, but it was cool seeing, even in digital form, Peter Cushing back up on
I popped for that. I was like the only one in the theater. I was like, yes. And then I was probably the only other person in the theater who could obviously tell that there was not David Prowse walking down in that black suit. But I did.
Prowse isn't doing much walking at all these days.
Yeah,
but,
exactly. But I did find it funny because my son, he was like, something's wrong with Darth Vader. I was like, you're right. Because it was, the walk was off, the mask was a little off, but I mean, it wasn't David Prowse, so it's a different guy, so it's not going to be perfect. And he noticed the voice was a little off.
Would you have marked out if Ken Kersinger was Darth Vader?
I think Kate Hodder would have snapped at that point. but I would have. I would have.
No, they should have. Yeah. I was going to say, or make it Ken Kersinger, but then cast Kane Hodder at the last minute. That's what I would have done. But
they would have been like, why is Darth Vader so buff? I did. In the last Darth Vader scene, I was like, yes.
Yeah, I'm not a Star Wars fanboy or anything. I didn't even know. I thought it was going to be a separate actor playing Peter Cushing. I mean, I don't follow the up-to-date movie news for Star Wars, so that was actually a surprise going in for me, and I liked it. I did. I liked it. Yeah, Carrie Fisher is going to be missed. She was very nice.
Definitely.
And like I said, I think she did do some other stuff other than Star Wars, so I would encourage people to, go back and look at some of her other work, because she was a very talented lady, and she will be missed. Other news that we have for you. Oh, go ahead, Todd. I didn't mean to cut you off.
I was just going to throw out there Blues Brothers, and of course, who can forget her nun in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back?
Yes, she doesn't know the rules of the road.
Well, hopefully you don't need those rules on the way to heaven.
Absolutely. I would have followed the rules of the road with her at any time. So I don't know if that's creepy or touching, but I said it.
Yes.
I said it. But yeah, no, awesome lady, and her daughter's on Scream Queens, so still somebody out there. I believe she is, right?
I think so. I know. No, she's no enough look.
Yeah, our OCD makes us look. I believe that I think I know her daughter. I just don't want to. Like I said, I'm not
I know. I'm
a fan.
I'm trying to think of her daughter's name. Oh, jeez. All right.
Her mother's still alive too, I believe. So it's kind of.
She is.
Yeah, I feel kind of bad. That's always shitty, outliving your kid. But yeah, she was really cool. But other bit of news that I did want to throw out there for Full Moon fans, because this is something I told Todd about. I assume it's the same. I can't see why it wouldn't be. But if you're looking to get the Meridian Blu-ray or the brand new Head of the Family Blu-ray for Full Moon, I would recommend, you can get it on Amazon for $22.95, but right now on eBay, again, at least as of this moment, you can get either one for $12.95 with free shipping from the sell. Well, you can just type in the names and it should pop up for you, but it's, I think Ban Char is the seller, if that helps, and, kind of have a hunch who that might be.
I'll tell you like this, Dan. I got my shipping notice from Full Moon Direct today, so.
All right, there we go. So I don't know why it's cheaper on there and not the website, but $12.95's pretty good deal.
It was a Charlie Band birthday special. Today is his birthday.
Oh, well, there you go. There you go. Hopefully it's the same when you go look. I imagine it is, but like I said, all of the Full Moon Blu-rays do tend to be discounted after a while, but that was pretty fast, especially considering Head of the Family literally just came out. So
yeah,
I got both.
Really excited that. Unfortunately, we probably will not be reviewing that one because we literally just did.
Yeah.
But maybe we'll talk Meridian. And yes, Billy Lord is Chanel number 3 on screen.
Yeah. Okay. All right, yeah, I just couldn't think of the name. I didn't want to. But, yeah, check those out. I want to say on Head of the Family there might be a new commentary track, though. So I don't think it's totally without extras. I think J.W. Kara.
If mine actually shipped today and wasn't just a label, I should have mine tomorrow because it literally ships from, like, a city over.
Okay. Yeah, it's shipped. Mine shipped out, too, so I should have it soon.
Full Moon is not
we
very
could
far.
possibly do Meridian. I don't think we really covered Meridian, so we may have a review.
We did
for you
not,
guys.
And that was one of my favorites from the early Paramount era. I haven't revisited it in quite a while.
I was going to say, I still have calluses on my hand from that and Boxing Helena. I was a big Sherilyn Fenn fan. Speaking of which, this is horrible to say, but this is like a notorious thing that is true. That movie she did with Richard Tyson, I can't think of the name right now, but it was kind of one of the Basic Instinct era, Fatal Attraction era erotic thrillers. There is a very revealing pornographic shot of her in that movie, which, I had to track it down for that reason. So, just throwing.
And you're not even going to tell us the name of it?
I can't think of the name off the top of my head. Shit. Well, our OCD, I guess I have
I'm already
it.
looking up her. And is this available on DVD?
It is on DVD. There is a moment where he picks her up, and you get you get an anus shot. I'm just saying, it is notorious, and
the whole thing.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. What do you mean the whole thing? It's not that big.
I was spelling it with a W. All right. Backstreet Dreams?
No. Oh, let me see here. Now I got to figure
I'm
what it was.
Two Moon Junction?
There you go. Yes. And you get the full moon in Two Moon Junction.
Oh my God. Well, how did I not think of that? I have that on Blu-ray. I should know that one.
I didn't. Yeah, I wasn't sure if that was on Blu-ray. Shit, I guess I know what I might have to buy later. But
well,
yes.
It's region locked.
Oh shit! All right. Well, it'll probably be coming at some point.
At least I'm 90% sure it is. When I get home, I'll look at it for you.
Yeah, there was a funny Mr. Skin article on on Two Moon Junction. I remember reading at one point. So yes, I don't know. It might be more of a blink and you'll miss it type deal, but it is in there.
Well,
it is in there, and it is.
I will do some research when I get home. I'll research the film and also check what region lock it is. Just for you. That's why I'm going to have to watch it.
Todd checking the region lock. I'm sure that's all he'll be checking out.
Yep.
Todd, did I miss any other news?
No, not that I can think of.
All right. Well, on that note, on with the show. So we have. Let's kick it off with this one. This was actually probably the one that I was most curious to see again because it's one I have not seen since VHS, and that is The Hills Have Eyes 3. AKA, which most of you will know it as Mind Ripper. And this is the new Blu-ray from Code Red from the Ronin big cartel store. And Wes Craven, the master of horror, teams up with star Lance Henriksen to bring you a new kind of terror. A top-secret experiment intended to produce a superhuman has gone terribly wrong. Now the creators, trapped in a remote desert outpost, are being pursued ruthlessly by their creation. James Stockton, played by Henriksen, the scientist whose research was used despite his protests to create the monster, is called to the outpost to help undo the horror that now lurks somewhere within the dark halls. James, together with his son, Giovanni Ribisi, and daughter, Natasha Gregson Wagner, soon find themselves trapped inside with the others, trying desperately to survive. And with the outpost sealed from within, there is no way out. And then it goes on and on. So, at first, a little bit of history on this one, because I do think this is important to point out since they are releasing it as The Hills Have Eyes 3. This has nothing to do with Hills Have Eyes. It's not a sequel, and the only thing it has in common is that it takes place in the desert. Wes Craven's son, actually, who wrote the script, Jonathan Craven, I think had touched this up, and by the time it went into production, it was no longer Hills Have Eyes 3, even though I know in some foreign markets, I think it was put out as Hills Have Eyes 3. I understand why they released it this way. It kind of makes some people have to buy it, but this is in no way a Hills Have Eyes film. So I'll throw that out there. Todd, before I get into my thoughts on the movie itself, what did you think of this one?
This is one that I was looking forward to revisiting, and I don't think it's held up well with age. I think I'd seen it the one time and never thought about it really again. It wasn't horrible. It wasn't great, and I really don't have any big nostalgia on this one, and it just, for me, didn't really hold up. I mean, there wasn't, not a great film. It's entertaining enough, but I mean, it's, I don't know. I was expecting to like it a lot more, revisiting it, and I just kind of felt underwhelmed.
Yeah, I agree. I never remembered this one being great, but it came out in that era, 95, I believe, where whatever you got in the horror genre was kind of a big deal. Like, that was just a time, and I'm a little younger than you, so, around that time, any horror movie that came out was like a huge deal. You had to watch it. It didn't feel like you were getting, 50 new things every week. Every movie was special. And, being a huge Henriksen fan, I, of course, ate it up, picked it up, and I didn't love it even back then, and definitely don't now. It's not horrible. I mean, one of the big issues, they're essentially, the threat is this, looks like this 80s hair band reject. He never really goes into like full creature mode, which I think would have helped it a little bit. It was just a kind of a very, not particularly threatening. They try to make him a little sympathetic, the whole Frankenstein's monster sort of angle, but it really doesn't work. And there were a lot of Alien rip-offs, which this is somewhat of not that full Alien rip-off, but, it's easy to see Alien, The Thing, there's a lot of different things that this has elements of, and I love them all. Like, around that time, a lot of creature flicks, I'm naming some more obscure ones, but, Within the Rock, Alien, Terminator, some with, I think, much lower budgets that were all very entertaining to me. This one just doesn't do it. The acting is pretty bad. The script is really weak. Jonathan Craven, maybe not nearly as talented as his father. I don't know. It just it never fully works. Most of the elements are there. You get the gratuitous shower scene from Claire Stansfield. For Xena Warrior Princess fans know she was one of the big villains on that. And I don't know. There were lines like "Shut up, interactive head," and just really crappy dialogue. But it was never funny. It wasn't one of those movies that was goofy and fun. They were obviously trying to go serious with it, but a lot of cliches. The father, Giovanni Ribisi, who was terrible in this. It's amazing that he kind of went on to have a career, because he wasn't very good at all as the rebellious. The premise is kind of ridiculous. You're in this facility. There's only a handful of people. Why you would fly out your family. It really just failed in a lot of ways. The boyfriend, Jesus Christ, was he a terrible actor? It's like they cast him out of a fucking frat. He was just horrible. And, you get a little bit of gore, but nothing all that impressive. You had the one eye scene, a couple decent gore bits, and, you get a shower scene, but the rest of it was just very blah. And I love, creature flicks trapped in a, remote location, closed off location. I'm an easy mark for that stuff, but I got to say, I'm with you, Todd. This one just doesn't work at all. And I don't know. I was disappointed, but like I said, the Hills Have Eyes 3 tagline is going to make it people have to buy it.
Yeah. And the people who haven't seen it are going to be even more disappointed. Although after part 2, see, here's the thing. I'd rather watch it. This is me. I'd rather watch Hills Have Eyes Part 2 than 3. And I know you're going to disagree on this one. But that's because that one is just so bad, it's hilarious. Where this one isn't
I won't
that
disagree.
bad.
Yeah,
What?
This is just a very blah movie. Hills Have Eyes 2 is the original Hills Have Eyes 2 is a fucking terrible movie by any normal person standards, but it is fun. This one just isn't very fun. I couldn't even go average on this, which means probably a lot of you guys will really hate it, but it's a 2 for me, and that's a generous 2. I mean, I was never bored per se, but it just never connected as a horror film. It was never amusing, and just it didn't do anything particularly well to give it a strong recommendation. But Henriksen went on to do Millennium not long after this, which was a fantastic show. So for Henriksen fix, I would recommend checking that out.
Well, I'm a 1. Not much.
Okay.
It's hard. I get it with the cast, but it's not much for me there.
Yeah. I did find the finale a little bit amusing. Kind of the he's not dead yet sort of finale. That was kind of amusing. Like I said, it's never boring, but just didn't do it for me. I think not having an actual because most of the movie, I mean, he's just, like I said, he's just a hair metal looking dude. I mean, it's just not, just doesn't work for me. I was looking for more of a creature, but yes. Yeah. So doesn't get a recommendation. On the extra front, you get nada. I know Henriksen was never fond of this one. I remember him talking about it, and Claire Stansfield even made fun of it at one point, I think at a convention or something, and was joking about how none of the actors could keep a straight face, and just being chased around by this long-haired bodybuilder dude, and it just, she said, yeah, it was definitely a paycheck movie, or as Lance Henriksen calls them, an alimony picture. So I see Fangoria gave this one a good review too, which I don't quite get. I don't know. It just never worked. But
they must have known someone.
Giovanni did at least, went on to be the pervert Donnie in the Ted flicks, so he's doing okay. So it worked out okay for him. So moving on to our next film, which is for a long time, until this came out on DVD from, I believe it was Anchor Bay, this one was like kind of a slasher film that came along late to the party. It's a 1992 film from director Brian Owens called Happy Hell Night, and kind of one that like nobody remembered. It's one you'd bring up. I think it was under a couple different titles there, but it's a slasher flick that no one remembered, and it was interesting seeing it on DVD and then watching this Blu-ray again. Before I get into it, I guess I'll read the synopsis. This is from director Brian Owens. On October 31st, 1963, 7 members of the Phi Delta Kappa fraternity were found brutally mutilated following an occult ritual inside Winfield Mausoleum. The sole suspect, depraved priest Zachary Malleus, was immediately locked away in the bowels of the state asylum. 25 years later, a fraternity hazing prank goes terribly wrong and the psychotic ghoul escapes. Now a relentless evil has been unleashed, and the co-eds of Winfield College will once again face the bloody horror and learn the shocking truth of Happy Hell Night. Darren McGavin of Night Stalker, Yorha Fox of CSI, Ted Clark of Wrong Turn, and Sam Rockwell star in this rarely seen slasher sickie packed with gratuitous nudity and gore galore. Yeah, this is a 1992 film, had some obviously future stars in it with Rockwell and Yorha from CSI. I don't know if I'm saying her name right. I have to say, this one I think is pretty good. It's not by any means a classic, but it delivered on the gore. It delivered on a fairly creepy-looking killer in this Zachary Malleus, played by Charles Cragen. And Yeah, it's got the nudity, it's got the gore, it's got a cool killer. It has its issues, particularly the Darren McGavin looking a lot more removed from college than just 25 years, probably more like 45. That was a bit of a plot hole, I guess. The priest also looking like he aged a lot more than 25 years when it jumped ahead. But surprisingly enough, I like this one. It's funny revisiting these and how well this one stood out for me. Todd, what did you think?
I absolutely agree with you on that. I really, really enjoyed this one. It is, slasher from that period, they're like they just disappear for some reason. And this one was really good. I really dug it. I agree that it's a it's a pretty basic slasher plot, but honestly, that's when you start overthinking slashers is when they tend to go off the rails and become a not so good slasher film. And they didn't do that. They did the slasher, the way you're supposed to, and it was a very entertaining slasher. I really dug it. The killer, like you mentioned, the killer was cool. I mean, it
kind of like a psychotic powder.
Yeah, pretty much. And with a little less creepiness surrounding its director too.
Yes, as far as we know.
Oh, yeah. All right. Did Bryan Singer ghost direct it?
You never know, Todd. Hey, Sam Rockwell, wasn't he in?
Slaughterhouse. He was.
Yes.
Slaughterhouse, yes.
It has a connection to that creepy director you speak of.
It does. Hopefully it's not like jeez. What the hell is it?
Salvo was on set rubbing Malleus's bald head, his other bald head. It's possible. That actor was of age, though, so probably not.
Yeah. A little beyond the age, probably too old.
Exactly. But, I was very impressed with it. I mean, it really has everything you'd be looking for in a slasher, and some of the kills are actually pretty good. The hand being knifed into the remote, I thought was cool. It had, like I said, a good deal of nudity. The one-liners were kind of amusing from Malleus. Kind of partially goes the Freddy Krueger sequel route with a few of the one-liners. I thought the kills were actually really good. I was impressed. It's actually a lot better than some of the later slashers, even still in the late 80s, quite frankly. I mean, it's one that I don't think it's going to be anybody's favorite slasher, but to be honest, as we've highlighted on the show in the past, there's a lot of slashers that don't hold up as well, unless you're just an absolute slasher aficionado. A lot of them don't hold up quite as well, and surprisingly enough, I think this one does. It's entertaining. It works. It gives you everything you could realistically want from this type of movie. I should say Sam Rockwell doesn't have a whole lot of screen time, but if you enjoy slashes, like I said, the only big issue with it was kind of the timeline. Some of the actors were older than they really should have been in the present day portion of it, but I think this is a very entertaining slasher. I think this was the one probably people were least looking forward to, considering it was on DVD, and and compared to these other three releases, and it held up very well for me. I think it even has atmosphere. I mean, it's not a particularly scary slasher, but I thought the killer was a lot creepier than a lot of other slashers that are better known. So, yeah, I was disappointed though, Todd, that there weren't extra features on this one. I kind of would have liked to have heard a little bit about this. I don't think the DVD did either, did it? Do you recall?
I think there was just a trailer on that.
Okay. Yeah, so unfortunately we don't get the story behind it. I would have liked to have seen it, but rarer film. I don't think they would have gotten Fox or Rockwell to come in for an interview, and McGavin's dead, so unfortunately. Yeah. But I give this one I give this one a 3.5. I think it's a very good slasher film. It's not a classic, but it's entertaining, and what else could you really expect? I really dug it. I think this is probably one to grab if you're into slashers. Todd, what say you?
I give it a solid 4.
All right, awesome. You're a little bit higher. Yeah, I would definitely check this one out. And it looks great.
It's one of those. It does. It's one of those. It's it's a later one. It's a forgotten one. Even it's not like a loss or anything. We're not talking The Undertaker or anything here. But it is one just because of its time. It's fallen in the cracks. I mean, we've had a release on every format. It's not like we didn't get a DVD or anything. It's just it's one of those that kind of people forgot.
Yeah. No, they did. I remember when it came out on DVD and a lot of people actually being pissed because they had it mistaken for Hell Night, the better-known slasher flick with Linda Blair. Like I said, when you look at stuff like, Slaughter High and, some stuff like that, although I like Slaughter High, but it was a lot more competent than a lot of slashers, a lot more polished. I'd forgotten that it's a reasonably bloody movie. And I don't know. Like I said, if you are a slasher fan and haven't picked this up, don't let the year fool you. I think I kind of also wondered if this might have been shot a little bit earlier, but I don't think so. It looks right around 92, so wish we could have had some backstory on it, but what can you do? I recommend it, and you should check it out. So, Todd, I hate to put you on the spot, but did you wrangle a song? I know Todd's having some technical issues because he's not at his normal computer. So I hate to put you on the spot.
Damn it, Dan, you put me on the spot. We don't have anything new, but we can play something from a couple weeks ago. All right, hold on.
Sure.
Yeah, I do not want to play our Thursday song, or last week's song. Just a little too, I don't think Taboo 2 is going to play well. So, well, how long do you need, Dan? We can play that, the one you recommended for last week, which gives you 2 minutes.
That works. That's plenty of time.
Okay, go do what you got to do.
I'll only shake one.
All right, we'll be right back. Enjoy this one, everyone. I'm automatically attracted to beautiful. I just started thinking about it. It's like a magnet. I don't even know it. And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything. Whatever you want. Grab them by the pussy.
I caught a lot of heat because
grab them by the pussy.
They calling me a creep since
grab them by the pussy.
Frankly, I'm a beast when
grab them by the pussy.
I just take them to the suite, then
grab them by the pussy.
I caught a lot of heat because
grab them by the pussy.
They calling me a creep since
grab them by the pussy.
Frankly, I'm a beast when
grab them by the pussy.
I just take them to the suite, then
grab them
you're
by the
fired. Hold up, let me pop my Viagra. I'm about to get the pussy wetter than Niagara. Democrats mad cause my money pile faster. Never take a loss unless it's time to file taxes. I'm showing out like my dick got rabies. Foaming at the mouth, pulling bitches till I'm 80. Kiss them ASAP, frankly I'm not into waiting. And I hate black people, I prefer to rent to Asians. I run the game, they know I'm prepared to play to win. I ain't sharing bitches with these terrorists breaking in. Look, I'm just trying to make America great again. Got a better chance of making Nancy Kerrigan skate again. Believe me, I'm groping bitches by the dozen, but only if they super bad. They call me McLovin. I don't fuck with Cali cause he's Muslim, but all I do is win. I'm the topic of discussion. I caught a lot of heat cause they calling me a creep since frankly I'm a beast when I just take them to the suite and I caught a lot of heat cause they calling me a creep since frankly I'm a beast when I just take them to the suite and
And we are back. That was Grab 'Em by the Pussy. It's a good Christmas classic for you guys. We did air that last week, but hey, I had to pee. What are you going to do? You had to hear it again. But I can't remember. Did you figure out who was the rapper on that?
I did not go back and look it up. I should have. I wasn't planning on playing it tonight again. I'm glad I did not clear the board, but luckily I didn't because I'm not. As I said, I'm out on location.
That's okay. You will be back. You will be back in Cali soon.
So.
Yeah, absolutely. So, pressing on. What do you think, Todd? Should we do all the retro ones and save Siren for last, or
I think
hit
so.
a new one?
I think that's the point. I think we should do. I think Don't Go in the House should be the last of our retros.
All right, that works. So we will tackle I guess arguably the lesser known of these 4 movies, because this one has, I
said of this bundle?
Yes. It probably was, at least in its VHS run, was a little better known than Happy Hell Night because it had a popular singer, but this one's never had a DVD or Blu-ray release, so it's probably pretty new for most people. It's a 1987 shot in 85 film from director Dimitri Logothetis. I don't know. That's as good as I can get on that name. And it is Slaughterhouse Rock. The director's doing the new Kickboxer movie, ironically, so he's kind of making a comeback. And for those of you unfamiliar with this one, get ready for some heavy metal rock and roll horror, now in HD. A man visits Alcatraz prison after having dreams about all the people who died there. When he gets to the prison, his brother is possessed by an evil cannibal demon. The ghost of a female heavy metal singer, Toni Basil, singer of the #1 hit Mickey, who is killed there, tries to help the man fight the monster. Also starring Playboy Playmates Hope Marie Carlton and Donna Denton, and with music by the great punk band Devo. Now this cult favorite is in a brand new HD master. So, Todd, what did you think about this one? I don't know if I still have it, but I had the poster at one point.
Here's one that's probably going to shock a lot of people. I revisited it, and it's another one that did not hold up for me.
How would you compare it to the other heavy metal rock horror films that were popular during this era?
It doesn't even hold a candle to Trick or Treat.
Yeah, definitely.
I think Black Roses is above it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's got a little on Rock and Roll Nightmare. What other ones am I missing?
Hard Rock Zombies, and there's more.
I'd have to revisit that. It's no Deathgasm either. There's a new one in the genre.
Deathgasm's great.
It is. That's probably in my top 5 of the year. Oh yeah, we should probably do that next week, huh? Oops. We totally forgot it. You know, maybe we'll take our time.
2016 is finishing strong, though. I was going to say, there's still some stuff we got to watch, because the last couple months there were some really good ones that we still have to review. But I mean, so what did you think about this one? I was curious. I could see you going either way, and I wasn't sure.
Yeah, it's kind of. I guess it's good. It skipped an incarceration, an incarnation of the DVD. Because I don't know if I would have been super excited to grab the Blu-ray. Yes, I still would have bought it. It's just, I don't know. The whole possession thing and it just wasn't working for me. I was like, God, I thought this was so much better. I mean, it wasn't scary. I mean, how am I supposed to be afraid of Mickey haunting anyone and not even singing Mickey? That would have been scary. Come on, give me a drawn-out piano version of her singing Mickey chasing people, and maybe it would have been like, yes. I think it's one that survives off its name and the fact it's been MIA on DVD and people wanted to see it. I think, I don't know, it seems like this whole batch I didn't really like but half.
It's a pretty everything in the kitchen sink kind of storyline. I mean, shockingly enough, I think I liked it more than you. It's a mess, but
it is.
It was kind of an entertaining mess for me. It's shot very well. You know, it's. I mean, you've got this cannibal. I mean, it's got a lot of elements from all sorts of stuff. From, I mean, you know, Nightmare on Elm Street to, you know, the Rock angle. Some of the movies we talked about. I would agree. A lot of those movies, truthfully, were not technically good, but maybe John Michael Thor needed to star in this one. And I don't know, maybe Lita Ford would have been good as the Rock ghost. I think I might have preferred her. But
Mickey isn't hard rock enough for you?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we needed a Kiss Me Deadly kind of performance, just Lita just killing people and to the song. I don't know. We needed a runaway. I don't know. But surprisingly enough, it had a decent, creepy atmosphere. It's not scary, but it did have some mood to it, despite being a mess. There were a few decent moments of effects. It's a pretty wild movie. I mean, like I said, it's definitely different. It's a mess, but it's a somewhat interesting mess. I think they just tried to maybe incorporate a whole lot. Obviously, it's only exteriors shot for Alcatraz. This is not shot in Alcatraz. But where the movie really failed again, and that this could be another theme with Mind Ripper, which could have used some humor, but a lot of the humor falls flat in this one. There's a few moments where they try and be funny with goofy one-liners, and it's never one that particularly works that way. And it's not scary enough to really be a great horror film, so you're kind of in the middle there with it. Maybe it's just the fact that that it did have a very different story. It didn't feel like just another one of those. I guess I'll give it that much. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not great, but I feel like there was a good movie here somewhere. I mean, and again, you got a little nudity, you got some gore. There's the burn moment with skin being cut away from the back, which was pretty good, and it's a clusterfuck, but I don't know. I didn't hate it. I did not hate it. It's definitely better than Mind Ripper for me, and apparently this was fine.
I give you that.
Yeah, it was. It's like, okay. It's one of those movies you watch, and it's like I have to still process what I felt about it. I think if the humor didn't fall flat like it did a lot of the time, it might have even been a pretty good time. But it delivered enough entertaining moments on the gore front, and the general mood of Alcatraz that I enjoyed it. But it's not as endearing as the other rock and roll horror flicks, Trick or Treat, which of course is great, and Black Roses and Rock and Roll Nightmare. I'm a big fan of those. What can I say? And it's just not like, it just doesn't. Again, it's not going to be anybody's favorite movie, but I'm not sorry that I bought this one. So, as out there as the script is, lots of supernatural mumbo jumbo, I was still somewhat engaged in this one. And on that note, I should say this one does have extras, strangely enough. Although one is kind of a bit of a cop-out. There's an on-camera interview with Devo frontman Mark Mothersbaugh, which is essentially just a 30-second lead into the movie hosted by that banana guy, whoever that is, a.k.a. Bill Olsen. I was a little disappointed about that one. I actually feel some people that are buying this because of Devo, which I actually know a couple that didn't give a shit about the movie, but were a big fan of Devo. That's not an interview. I could see that maybe pissing some people off. I don't know if anybody's said anything though or not, Todd, but
they better not. Give that to themselves. I already have mine now. Say what you want.
Yes, say what you want, and Todd and I will have a more valuable Blu-ray on our hands. But they did have a good interview with the DP, Nicholas von Sternberg, who's worked on a lot of bigger things. I was very happy with that one. He talks about shooting in San Francisco for a day, exteriors for Alcatraz, and talks about Dolomite, which of course we reviewed all those recently. Told a funny story about Dennis Hopper being so drugged out on a movie he couldn't remember simple lines. Talks about Rudy Ray Moore. It's one of those interviews where he kind of talks about all sorts of stuff. The best one was Sybil Danning beating the shit out of her boyfriend by beating him with a room key, which I thought was pretty funny. Yeah, that was a good interview. I was happy to have an extra on this. So
I was really happy with that.
Yeah,
well, what
I was too.
I was with the Devo one, but that interview in particular,
that was a little
was very entertaining.
Yeah, I don't know why there wasn't a longer interview. I mean, he actually had the guy, so it seemed strange there wasn't more of an interview with him. But that's just a 30-second intro. But another thing I did want to throw out there, Nick Solozzi financed this movie, and which is why his son stars in this one. He was a Chevrolet dealer, so little factoid for you guys. The cast was pretty good. I mean, it was reasonably well acted. I don't have any major complaints. It's just kind of a clusterfuck, So Film looks fantastic. Once again, I mean, it looks like it was just shot, so no complaints on that front. I give this one a 2.5. I mean, still kind of, it was way out there. It was definitely a clusterfuck, but I was entertained enough to give it a whirl. What say you, Todd?
I'm slightly lower. I give it a 2. I'm not disappointed about it. I had fun with the extras. Just such a mess. It's hard to. It's one I think if I revisit, because I was remembering it from my last viewing, which was in my youth. So
yeah,
and it's not one I committed to memory. I remember enjoying it a lot more, and it just wasn't there. I think I gotta review it. Maybe have a few beers when I do that.
Yeah, it's definitely a movie where I think it'll play a little bit better out with a few drinks in you, but I didn't hate it. You know, there's I think better stuff to come, including some Italian post-nuke that I'm refreshing the Ronin page daily for. Coming our way. Also, we've got some Laura Gemser on Blu-ray, so I'm very much looking forward to that. But you know,
I know
it's an obscure movie that I didn't think we'd ever get on Blu-ray, so that's always a good thing.
I'm waiting, and I see the Code Red store still up, and I still don't have Hide and Go Shriek. I'm like, I might grab that horror bundle. I'm just like, but as soon as I do, the other stuff's going on sale.
You know, I just got my Hide and Go Shriek today, and I ordered it from Screen Archives, but I think what might have gotten me was I ordered it with Stigma, and Stigma, for some reason, I guess they didn't get it back in or in for a while, so I think that's why, because I was like, wow, Screen Archives is fast. What the fuck's taking so long? But I guess those were still listed as pre-orders for a while, so hell, I probably should have gotten the bundle too, to be honest, but usually Screen Archives is a lot faster, so I do want to throw out there, Todd, if you want to save a few bucks also on eBay, I didn't pull the trigger on this because I got the Full Moon stuff, but for $19.99 they have, I know Headless Eyes is up there, Savage Attraction, and I think Jigsaw Murders and Electric Chair. So those are up on eBay. I didn't get them right now because there was some other stuff I needed to grab before those, but they are there on eBay. As of now, probably not for long because they're used. So there's probably only one copy. So, well, on to our last of the Ronin titles. This one from Scorpion Releasing, I should say. All the other three were Code Red. And that is Don't Go in the House.
Send me that. Send me that link when you get a second. Of those emails.
Oh, you want me to do that? Todd's gonna fuck you guys. So I apologize for that. A few of those may not be available. Todd, I'm working on that now. Let's see here. Oh hell, they could very well already be gone. I don't know.
I know. That's why I was like sooner than later, but oh well.
Oh no, they're still here. Let's see here. Well, like I said, save a few dollars. Probably get them. There you go. You got to grab those discs by the pussy. Jigsaw Murders is the one that's killing me because I just can't remember it. And
well, I'll be able to fill you in now.
Yeah, you will. You will. I'm just sending you one of them because the others are from the same seller, but there you go. So there you go. This guy seems to have used Code Red titles that have always been perfect. So, you know, you'll save $3 or $4, I guess. So, well, Todd steals that one from me, but I got to get 99 Women, and that's an expensive Franco disc. So
I didn't. You know what?
Trigger.
That was the one thing I wanted to pick up today, because it was like I was at I told you I was at the record store out here, and it sucked because they didn't even have that one list. They had other Blue Underground stuff. Hell, I grabbed I grabbed one from Unearthed. I grabbed one from, what was the other one I told you? From Mondo. They had other Blue Underground stuff. They just did not have 99 Women. It wasn't even listed in the system. Yet they do carry it. They had a Blu-ray listed, but it was a French
Love
import.
Camp
It was
7
some kind of
is
import.
not on Amazon either. The pre-order for that, which was
I
weird.
heard there was an issue with that and another one. It just looks like an Amazon screw-up because they didn't get them by a certain time and the dates got changed. So I don't remember when Love Camp 7 comes out exactly.
I think it's early February, if I recall. Yeah. But 99 Women also, you have the 3-disc limited that also has the French hardcore cut, which, for a lot isn't necessarily preferable, but being a Franco nut, I do want that, so hopefully that'll drop soon.
I know, and it hasn't yet. That's what's bothering me. See, that's the thing. They had at the Zia, the store out here, they had Eugene, the 3-disc limited, for $20.
Eugenie,
I was looking like mad. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
no
I did finally get Don't Fuck in the Woods, which probably will not live up to that awesome title, but we'll probably have a review for that one in the next couple weeks or so. But I do need to get 99 Women. So unfortunately, the Code Red Lot Electric Chair I did see, and I remember on a Something Weird disc, and that one was horrible. I do want it, but it's one of those things where I was just like, there's just so many other things right now. Speaking of other things that are better than some of those we mentioned, not Franco, because Franco's God, but nonetheless a great film, I think. Don't Go in the House from director Joseph Ellison. This is the new Blu-ray. I always thought it was made a little bit earlier, but it's listed as a 1980 film on this release and follows, as a child, Donald Kohler, played by Dan Grimaldi of The Sopranos, grew up under the sadistic rule of an overbearing mother. Her method of punishment, a severe burning. Through the years, Donald finds no comfort, no sympathy, nor home in the real world. When he discovers his mother has died in her sleep, he thinks he may finally be free. But with nightmarish visions and voices in his head, the damage has been done. Now he hopes to incinerate his repressive past by seeking out young women, taking them to his home, and burning them alive. The film that was once banned in the UK now see this cult classic from a brand new HD scan of the original negative, now 9 minutes longer than all previous editions. So, Todd, some controversy on the release, which I guess maybe we can talk about first. We did mention this before, but some controversy, and what do you think about this one? I'm actually a big fan of this one.
I am too. Very, actually, it's very similar to Maniac. I mean, not as Spinelli, but it's still good. I mean, yeah, Spinelli's going to up anything. But it's always, even with I don't want to give away too much of the ending, but even the ending is almost similar to Maniac.
Which is a good thing.
And I've always been a fan of it. I never really put it together until recently that they are very similar, which makes sense why I like them. But it is very... Oh, this is definitely our kind of film. How do I say it any different?
Yeah. No, it really is. I love the fact that it still had the burning opening title, which I thought that was kind of cool. And one thing it has in common with Maniac, of course, the vibe, but Dan Grimaldi was fantastic. I thought he played a very realistic sort of loner psychopath killer in Donnie. I thought he was a very just an excellent performance. I mean, it's hard to touch Spinell, but I think that he did a hell of a job in this one. And it has, I think this was maybe shot a little more in Jersey. It's not, really a New York City film, but it's still kind of, I put it up there with those sort of gritty pre-Giuliani New York-based films. I mean, it really had that down and dirty vibe that I really enjoy in pretty much all of those movies that fall under that. Even non-horror Taxi Driver. I love this one. I think it's a great psycho killer flick, and it's ugly, it's nasty, and it has stellar acting, stellar performance from this guy who, of course, most people will remember as Patsy Parisi on The Sopranos. And I know Tarantino's a big fan of this one as well. It's known, but it's maybe not as known as it should be, because I think it's great. Most of the don't titles, I tend to like most all of those. Don't answer the phone, don't go in the house. I did a marathon a while back where I watched all of the don't titles, particularly after the Grindhouse trailer. And yeah, I really dug this one. I think it was very authentic. Like I said, I really bought his performance. It's never goofy. I really love the tone and just sort of the depressing tone. And I thought there were some pretty nasty gore moments. I thought particularly when he lights her hair on fire with the candle. I mean, that wasn't super graphic, but it kind of caught me off guard. I didn't remember that. I don't know if that was one of the scenes that wasn't in the other version. I wish I remembered well enough to say what was the new footage, but on that front, I do have to say there is the issue where they bleep some gay slurs and some language that was added in. But you can go ahead, Todd.
Yeah, not necessarily bleep. There's some audio loops that get rid of some homosexual slurs early on in the beginning, which honestly would have been the only loops I would have noticed because those were very obvious ones. I don't mean obvious from the fact that they were obvious loops. I mean obvious because I remember those words in there. And at first it was, people were like, oh, well, they're doing it because of PC stuff. But then as it turns out, the more you listen, there's a few other loops in there. That pull some more profanity, and it looks like this longer version they were probably going to try to make a TV cut out of, and then cut it up to get the violence out of there, but it never got that far because, I mean, it wasn't loops done for this release. It wasn't like the director pulled them. It was just on this longer The Burning print. It had some loops that were not noticed until this thing hit discs. And now there's some people that are upset about it. And then there's others.
I see. I would take the extra footage, of course. I mean, especially, extra gore. But for me, I will say this. The gay slurs really kind of made sense, I think, in this movie because there's kind of I don't know if it was the director's intention or not, but maybe a little bit of hinting that Donnie's character might have been gay. Maybe part of the reason for his rage, aside from being burned by his psycho mom. So I do have to say I can kind of, watching it and remembering that, I'm like, I can kind of understand how not having that there, it might have been a somewhat important scene with the I believe it was the boss that I believe used
Yeah.
the gay slur on him. And I don't. I will say it is too bad because it was important, I think, to the plot. I don't care if we got a son of a bitch or an asshole bleeped, but not having it there. I mean, it's not a big deal, but it's not nothing also. So I don't know. I guess I can somewhat sympathize with the people that were mad about that, but this is the best version. It's never looked better. It's never been more complete, but unfortunately, there was that. How hard would it have been for Todd just to sort of get that back in there somehow?
Not hard, and I'm sure someone else will do it for their own use.
Oh, yes, I think I know who that is. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's a great film, quite frankly. It's not quite Maniac, but if you're a fan of Maniac and haven't seen this, I do think it's a must-watch. And there's a lot of creepy moments. The scene where Donnie kissed the burnt body and slaps the corpse of his mom. I mean, it's a very very well-acted flick, which a lot of these films we're referencing have in common. And yeah, I really dug this. And you get some full frontal nudity, some 70s Bush, always very welcome. And this is also one that's relatively stacked on the extras front. Which makes sense. I mean, I think this is, I don't think too many people will, although again, Happy Hell Night was a surprise, but this is definitely, I think, the main event for most people, if you were picking some of these up. And it has a interview with Dan Grimaldi, who talks about not auditioning for this. He got cast because of a play he was doing, and not being a horror fan after being traumatized by Dracula. He's a nice guy, told some interesting stories about working with the fire and doing research on abuse victims. It was a pretty good interview. There's several other extra features. Todd, what did you think? Were you happy with the extras? Because I thought they went all out on this one.
I did. One, they ported over all the extras from the Shriek Show disc, which is always nice, and added stuff on top of that, which is even better. I was very happy with the extras on this release, and they even had some cool little stuff about the house and the location, and I was happy overall with the package. Other than the audio issues aside, it wasn't a deal breaker. With this.
No, it really wasn't. And the also the featurette with the actual ghost hunter, the tour of Strauss Mansion. I thought that was a really cool extra feature. I've always said I wish more companies would get a little creative with extra features, particularly in cases where you don't maybe have a lot of original cast or crew that you can interview. I think there's a lot of companies that could be more creative with certain things, and location then and now featurettes I think are always cool, and I enjoyed what they did with this one. They also had an interview with Robert Ost, who played Ben, the friend in this one, which is a good one. He talks about this being a pretty big hit on a very low budget and shooting in the dead of winter in New York, which I'm sure was fun. This one, which this is really the only one out of these that I guess warrants an actual review for package. But package-wise, I give this one a 5. I think the package is great. The movie, I give a 4.5. I don't know that it quite hits classic level, but I still think it's a great movie that is a must-see if you're a fan of this era. And
yeah,
Todd,
I agree.
what say you?
I'm a little lower. I give it a 4. There's still, even though it is my type of film, there's still some things that are off. And for extras and such, I agree. It's a solid 5. Part of me wants to give it a 4.5 because of the audio issues, but we've brought that up and mentioned them. They're well known.
Yeah.
So just on the extras, I'm giving it the extras a 5.
There you go. So yeah, that's Don't Go in the House, and on to our new film this evening. And I should say, I think the next couple shows are going to be mostly new horror films because we've got a big stack of stuff to go through. We have a couple Vinegar Syndrome titles we still have to tackle as well. But this one is one that people may or may not be aware is a spin-off of the VHS trilogy, and that is Siren from director Greg Bishop. I'm a little surprised they don't, I mean, they have From the Minds That Brought You VHS, but they don't really advertise the fact that this is a spin-off movie, and you can get this everywhere right now. Walmart for $10, Target had it. And
I'm really surprised Scream Factory didn't pick it up because they've done all the other Chiller films.
Yeah.
I'm surprised. I really, and I'll be honest, it's one of the better Chiller films.
No, it really is. I mean, Chiller's had some solid stuff, to be honest.
Yeah.
Actually, strangely enough, I'd say in terms of horror, I mean, they're better than Sci-Fi Channel. I mean, they've had, I think Animal was really good, and they've had some pretty solid watchable stuff. They've got a few turds in the punch bowl as well, but overall I've been fairly impressed with the Chiller originals, and I think this one's the best one. So I was kind of surprised too. And for those unaware, this is a spin-off of Todd, help me out here. Which VHS was it? I feel now I'm
Amateur Night from VHS 1.
Okay. Yes, that I thought that, but I couldn't. I couldn't remember. It was the Siren story. It was a good story, actually. It's one. There are some other ones, though. I'll be honest. Like, I'd love to see a. I think it was the Indonesian one from the director of Macabre. I would love to see like a full-length version of that story. That was in the second one, I believe. But this was definitely one that made sense. And from the back cover, 1 week before his big wedding day, Jonah and his groomsmen hit the town for a wild night of club hopping and debauchery. The night soon takes a twisted turn for the worse when the group is invited to the seedy underground club 50 North, 40 West, a home to the sexy side of the supernatural. After Jonah frees a seemingly imprisoned dancer, he soon realizes that the woman he has released is actually a terrifying creature of legend that will stop at nothing to claim her man. Jonah and his groomsmen soon find themselves in a deadly fight for their lives as they run from the fabled predator and the men who are determined to recapture her. Director Greg Bishop is actually a really good director. He did a film called Dance of the Dead, 8 years ago or something like that, and I think it's actually one of the better zombie comedies out there. I think it's one that I actually revisit once in a while. I'm actually a big fan of that one. And Justin Wellborn, who plays the villain Mr. Nix in this film, was also in that as well, kind of playing the bully of the group in that film. And I'm pleasantly surprised to say he has another hit on his hand with this one. It's very and I should also say the director also directed his own VHS segment in Viral, Dante the Great, which I think also had Justin Wellborn in it, if I recall. Yeah, I mean it's definitely got the sort of From Dusk Till Dawn element. I would have liked to have spent a little more time in the club because there was some kinkiness and sort of very deformed clientele that I felt they could have expanded more if this didn't have a TV premiere. But I have a lot to say about this one, Todd. Obviously, I like it. What did you think?
I see. I get the From Dusk Till Dawn. I also got kind of a Bordello of Blood feeling too with the whole secret club.
Mhm. That's true. It's not quite goofy like that one, but yeah.
No, but those are the two that those are the two that pop in my head when I think of this one.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, it's. I really thought that Hannah Fairman, who returns as Lily, the siren from the same actress from that story, she had a great look. There's something very iconic about her eyes.
I agree.
She just did a really good performance. I could kind of see. It's a shame that Scream Factory didn't get this because we have no fucking extras, and it's another one that I would have loved to have heard a little bit about it. I would love to meet that actress at a convention because I get a feeling like this is one that's going to be remembered well because so many movies come and go. But, nowadays new horror movies, I mean, it's a crime. I could name some that are so good that just this generation just doesn't keep them out there like they used to. But like I said, there are some elements where it will feel a little bit more like a TV movie. I could have seen them pushing a few things a little bit more, but nonetheless, it's not. There is gore. It's very much an R-rated movie. There's gore. There's nudity. I'd be very curious to see the TV cut. Did you see the TV cut, Todd? Because I could see a few.
I didn't. I did not.
Okay. Yeah, because I could kind of see this. I don't know, because there was a decent bit of nudity that I would think would have been problematic. I would have been curious to see it.
Chiller, they tend to blur and mute words, so I don't think there really would have been much actually cut. They're not. Yeah, it's not like editing it for ABC. So.
Yeah. Siren, the ABC family movie of the week.
Which I definitely watched that.
Oh, fuck yeah. No, VHS, like I said, it actually has some stories that I wouldn't mind seeing expanded. I really didn't like the last VHS, which I guess was viral, I believe. I think it was, but whichever the last one was, I did not care for it as much. Yet I kind of thought they had a few stories that might be good if they tried to expand on them a little bit.
Yeah. Which isn't VHS viral kind of like an oxymoron too? One refers to a digital world, the other is. But that's a whole other thing.
I want to see Profane Exhibit is what I want to see. That damn thing, I don't know if we're ever going to get it, but that is what I want to see. Which one was that supposed to be part of?
I
wasn't really a part of anything. It was just that one that had Dodado and I think Richard Stanley might have done one for it. No, maybe he didn't. But I know Dodado, a lot of directors shot versions of that. That's been completed, I think, for a good 4 or 5 years. Though I heard there were some issues with it that directors didn't want to cut their stuff or something. I don't remember the whole story, but VHS has some stories that I think would be really good expanded upon. And I mean, what did you think, Todd? I mean, this is one I know you said some of the UEW guys loved.
Yes, and I really dug it too. I always honestly from the VHS from my first one, that's my favorite story of the. And honestly, that may make it my favorite of the series because I'm not huge on 2 or 3. And I think the way they expanded on it was perfect. It was kind of because it wasn't even necessarily a remake of the episode. I mean, it was that idea just expanded upon and fleshed out in a really, really cool way. I definitely am bummed we're not getting a Blu-ray. Because this is Universal. If we didn't get it yet, we're not getting it. Maybe in 10 years if Scream wants to do a special edition. But until then, it's one of those where it kind of sucks that a major is putting it out because they're not going to make sure you hear about this. Hell, even if Magnet still had the rights to this one, it would be a big deal, and every horror fan would know that Siren was a spinoff from the VHS series, and it'd be known. I mean, now it's just kind of like Universal's dumping it on. Yeah, well, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, I will say it's easy to get. You can buy it for $10 at Walmart right now. I think Best Buy has it. I think I even saw it at Target. So, like I said, you got different options for it. But you're right, and that's actually there's been the end of this year. Some movies, I mean, Good Neighbor, Trash Fire, some of these that we'll be reviewing, Jack Goes Home. A lot of them just got dumped on DVD, and I was just like, God damn! I hope people see these things.
Wasn't there a Blu-ray at one point scheduled for Jack Goes Home?
I thought there was two, strangely enough. I think that might have been one that was canceled because I swore that I heard something about that one getting a Blu-ray, and it did not. A couple of these I haven't even watched yet, but I know I've been hearing some damn good things. So, like I said, it's finishing kind of strong here in 2016, and yeah, I think the makeup also. I should say this again. Lily, like I said, she's a very iconic character now. I'm watching this and I'm thinking, holy shit, this is one that might slowly grow. Like, you know, more people will see it, and who knows? Maybe it could be like a May. Although May, I think, is a great classic, and I don't know if it'll hit that level, but I hope that people will visit this. This is not just another, you know, Ouija kind of a trick movie that Walmart's putting out, or one of the 7th or 8th Krampus films that are trying to trick you into thinking it's related to the theatrical film. I mean, this is one that is well worth picking up. Not a goddamn extra on the DVD, which of course disappoints me. And I thought it had a good tone. It never went too far into goofy territory with the humor, because, you know, you had the Stifler-like brother, and it could have. I did think it was funny, the stripper wearing flip-flops, because I swear to God, Todd, that
Atlanta
at Paradise. I haven't hit a whole lot of strip clubs here. That's another story. They're not as wild as they once were before the Olympics, but Paradise City 2, my favorite shithole back in West Virginia, I did once see a stripper walking around in flip-flops. I shit you not. That is not something that is made up. I maybe the director had a similar experience. But, you know, it was funny. It didn't get too goofy. I thought it was a scary film, and it had some really cool moments. I also, a little bit of Jeepers Creepers in there in a way, too, particularly towards the end. And I loved it. I really loved this one. I'm deeply saddened that this is not getting proper treatment, but I don't know. I don't know how long they've got it for, but I don't know, maybe we'll get like even a Blu-ray triple feature or something. I mean, I'll take anything at this point, because this is just about as disappointed I've been since the last After Dark Horror Fest films went to DVD-R releases on Amazon. I was very sad. So, I mean, no surprise, this one, God, it's not quite perfect, but goddamn, is it a good movie? I mean, I give it 4.5. I really enjoyed it, and it really doesn't feel like a TV movie. Like I said, I mean, there were a few moments maybe they could have pushed a couple things a little bit more, some of the club stuff perhaps, but I think it's a damn good movie. Todd, what say you?
I am slightly higher. Go figure. I am a 5 on this one.
Okay.
And it is definitely it is in my top films of the year. I don't know what number it would be right now, but it is definitely in the running. So how can I
feel
not?
like we should do, even if we don't rank it, maybe we'll do films you may have missed in 2016 type show down the line. We're just so booked up, it's hard, but I don't know, maybe we'll do that. But yes, and again, I do want to reiterate how great the Lily character was. I would buy a fucking action figure of her. That's how cool I think that character is.
Nice. I mean, by action figure, Dan means blow up doll, but same difference.
Absolutely. One with the pull string, I like you, and then, the top comes off, sort of deal. The head splits, you've got some other, you can even skull fuck Lily. That'd be pretty cool. But anyways, yeah. So we're done early today. We're done really early. And there's Trump.
We are. I know. Go figure. Well,
I do want to.
That's more time.
Yeah, absolutely. I know we are going to do. There we go. I would love Donald Trump in this. Can you imagine, like, they do, like, Lily's at a upper scale strip club, and we just get, like, Trump and some of it slutties.
Awesome.
Lily attacking Trump Tower. They could set it in New York. That would be, particularly if she penetrates him with her tail. I think that would be a great moment. But anyways. Another movie we'll never see, but would be fucking awesome. So I know we're going to do Jack Goes Home next week. Todd, what was the one you mentioned? Everybody's buzzing about it right now, and I can't.
Autopsy of Jane Doe.
Okay, yeah, we'll have Jack Goes Home, Autopsy of Jane Doe. I know we're going to review the Vinegar Syndrome Dorenzi set with the documentaries. We'll have Death Machines and something else that I think is slipping my mind at the moment.
I know we had at least one more. I'm looking.
Was it Good Neighbor or?
No, it was. Hold on, I got this right here. Dan messages a lot, so I got to find it. Well, we're not locked on the last one. It just depends what I get in time. Because I don't want to.
Right, so.
Could be Trash Fire. Could be I'm Not a Serial Killer. Could be something else.
All right. Well, we'll probably have reviews for all of those in the next coming weeks.
Could be Don't Fuck in the Woods. Who knows? Which we will be reviewing.
Yes, absolutely. I knew you would pick that one up eventually because how can you resist the title? Although I'm trying not to, because that's definitely one I could see not living up to the title. I was kind of thinking, I was like, shit, we should have done that with Don't Go in the House. But I think there's going to be a very different tone in Don't Fuck in the Woods. So yeah. So, well, we have a little time here. I just wanted to ask you, have you been following theatrical horror for 2017? Because I've got to say, normally a lot of people kind of consider, January, February, March to be kind of dump months for movies. But there's quite a few that I'm really looking forward to. I don't know, are you aware of A Cure for Wellness? That's one that I'm very excited about.
I am not. The only thing I know that I don't believe is actually going to finally come out in 2017 is the new Amity.
which probably won't come out till 2020.
Yes.
at the rate it's going.
I want to say that has a rough release date. I don't think it's till later in the year, but
it just got moved again because it was supposed to come out January 20-something. Now it's middle of the year.
Yeah. I'm thinking maybe that one might end up going direct to DVD, Blu-ray. I don't know, maybe not.
I'll tell you like this. This is how long ago they filmed it. When Chris came to visit, our former co-host, into California to help do the Video Dead commentary, the day after he left was the Monday they were filming in this park by my house. They had just put up the Amity house. Because I told him, I was like, well, if I'd known they had already put the house up, I would have went and showed it to you. So
yeah, I remember him saying
been
that.
Quite a while.
It's been a while. Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't try and dump it at Halloween, just see, enough of a name value. But I don't think the Ryan Reynolds movie did that well at the box office. I could be wrong, I don't know, but it just sort of felt to me more like maybe Amityville's going to go the way of the original series, and we were just going to start getting a bunch of DTV
What are you talking about
releases.
Getting? We have a shitload of straight to Amity home video Amity, but still.
Well, official sequels to the remake, I should say. Not necessarily the remake, but
I was going to say, how many official sequels?
We've had
after part 3,
the Asylum
then
stuff
it's all
too.
like after Amityville 3. I mean, it's all not official. And what was the last one? The Amityville Playhouse.
Dollhouse, I believe it was.
No, I'm saying recent ones. Recent ones, there was the Amityville Playhouse. Amityville
yeah,
House.
well, you've had, you've had a few different Asylum films that use the Amityville name. I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot.
Amityville Asylum was one,
Yeah.
straight up Amityville Asylum.
Well, you had the documentary, too. Been a lot. That's I can't say I particularly give a shit about that, though. I mean, it might end up being decent, but I don't know, I'm not psyched. I'm very excited to see Alien Covenant. That's a big one later in the year.
Oh, yeah.
Even though, it's been an up and down franchise, I'm kind of curious to see how they end things with Resident Evil. A Cure for Wellness looks fantastic. You'll have to check out the trailers for that one. Split with what's his name, James McAvoy, looks really good. That's another one, January. Like I said, January through March, there's a lot. Split is the multiple personality ones. Get Out, which comes out in February. That's a very that's the one. I don't know if you saw the trailer where the daughter at college has a black boyfriend that goes back to visit her parents in a town where there's surprisingly a lot of black people who've disappeared. It's an interesting storyline. That's another one that I'm kind of excited about. Trailer looked really good for that one, and strangely enough, comedians Brad Whitford and Catherine Keener are playing the parents, so kind of a different role for them. It's looking like a pretty good year for theatrical horror. Knock on wood. I don't know. I'm not that excited for The Mummy, though. I don't know. Maybe it'll be decent, but I don't know. It'll be better than Mummy Returns.
I don't even have that much hope.
Really? That bad, Todd?
I don't
know if it'll be that bad. These Universal reboots have not gone terribly well so far.
Yeah. I'm not looking forward to. They just,
They needed to
doesn't
fight
look good.
Xenu.
when I'm wishing Brendan Fraser was back, there's a problem with the franchise.
That, you know what's ironic? I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, say what you will about the original Brendan Fraser Mummy. I know some people love it, some people hate it. I could see myself liking that one a lot more than this one, especially the fact that the entire commercial for the Tom Cruise Mummy involved a fucking plane crash action sequence. I'm like, this is not Mission Impossible. This is the fucking Mummy. So
not
I'm
anymore.
really hoping. Yeah, I don't know. I'm really hoping that's better than.
Well,
but you get some remakes too.
I'm telling you, it's all. Wait, Brad Pitt can make World War Z. I'm making the Mummy. Guarantee you.
It probably was. Yeah, it'll probably make a lot of money. I don't know. His movies are. Cruise's movies are not usually
good.
Horrible. I've just never thought much about him as an actor. I mean, he's had a few decent movies, but
here's the thing.
But
I don't know. I think this movie's going to be all international. I think America in general is over Tom Cruise.
Yeah, I don't think his last Jack Reacher did all that well.
And I don't know. Well,
he's a weird son of a bitch. I mean, yeah. He was just on Graham Norton a while back. He was telling this story about how he could hold his breath for 7.5 minutes underwater. I shit you not, he spent a good chunk of the interview talking about that. And God, I wish they had just brought out a big tub of water and make him prove it. It was just fucking ridiculous. But yeah, no, there's some good ones. Like I said, keep your eyes out for Get Out, Split. Huh?
I was like, we can try to book him for right before the movie comes out.
We can get Cruise, I'm sure, as long as he hasn't listened to the show before. And Todd, I don't know if you want to though, because like if we ambush him, you're gonna have like people camped out, the Scientologists camped out outside your house, following you around. I don't know if you want that. They're gonna show up at like the UEW arena. It could get ugly.
Hey, ticket money's ticket money.
If they did, then you have to have somebody do a Xenu gimmick. That would
just for the night.
Kane Xenu. That would be pretty. BC Killer just drops him on a bed of thumbtacks. You would get some. You would get some attention, but I don't know. Belko Experiments, another one that looked really good. That's that one from the director of Guardians of the Galaxy. I think he produces it, and Michael Rooker's in that one as well. No surprise.
Oh, yes, from James Gunn.
Yeah, that one looked pretty cool. Rings, we got another Ring movie. We've got a Friday the 13th movie, which I haven't heard a lot definitive about the Friday the 13th movie. Maybe I'm just not following it, but it looks
Don't we have another Godzilla movie?
You have Kong Skull Island is this year. No. I think Godzilla's next year, 2018, I should say. But it doesn't look bad. Hell, you've got a John Cena war movie that's going to be in theaters, Todd. I'm sure you're going to go see that one.
Oh, yeah.
The Wall. I was a little surprised to see him in a theatrical movie again, but I don't know. We'll see. Maybe if it bombs, he'll finally turn heel.
Nah. Did you not see his Did you not see his commercials for his return to SmackDown? It's literally Superman. It starts off all slow with his theme, and it sounds just like Superman. I was like, are they really playing Superman? Oh, then I heard it. I was like, oh, my God, no, they didn't.
Yeah, well, right now they're just talking about whether it's going to be him or Undertaker taking AJ's title, so I'm not too keen on that. But unfortunately, Cena Taker kind of writes itself, and I have a feeling AJ's not going to be going into that with the title. But We can hope.
Yes, we can.
But I'm just hoping fucking Samoa Joe shows up soon because I'm getting impatient.
Yeah, Samoa AJ.
I am AJ can drop the belt if they give us Samoa Joe AJ. That'll make up for it.
I agree. Although
I will be cool.
Hell, they can have Joe debut by being the reason he drops it, but that might make Cena not look strong enough.
I was gonna say if Cena, I'm gonna watch SmackDown right after this, and if I'm hoping that Cena's in the Rumble, because if he's wrestling AJ, I think it's done. I think AJ's dropping the belt at. Although he could drop it at Elimination Chamber because that's a SmackDown pay-per-view this year. What?
Dan, SmackDown's not on Thursday anymore.
Oh fuck. Yes, well, no, I said, tonight.
I know that, but see...
You confused me for a moment.
I know that, but we're pre-recording and they don't know that yet.
Oh, that's true. I thought I already said that. Yeah, it's Tuesday.
No, we did.
So if somebody else dies, we're not snubbing them.
Yeah, we will throw that out at the end.
Yes, absolutely. So I think that's all we have for you guys. It should be a good few weeks of shows coming up for you guys. And Todd, anything that you need to plug before we bow out here?
No, not this week. Probably next week and the week after. Who knows?
All right, guys. We will see you next week, same time. And, that's all I got.
All right. Good night, y'all.
Night.
It's here.
Hello?
Have you checked the children?
They're all hot dolls. Whatever you do, don't fall asleep. I'm afraid.
Don't be afraid.
No. Be afraid. Be very afraid.
Pain has a face. Allow me to show it to you. Gentlemen, I am pain.
I met this 6-year-old child with this blank, pale, emotionless face. The blackest eyes. The devil's eyes.
You think that when you die, you go to heaven.